أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So the word I want to quickly talk about this morning is falah, 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 fa, lam, and ha. A lot of the translators have it as successful or success and the likes, but we lose touch with its real meaning by just calling it success. What falah actually means is when falah is said when the farmer is harvesting his crop, like just going, it's time to harvest and just getting the crop is called falah. And so when one sees that, one sees success, right? But what is missing in just calling it success is the work that went into it, the labor that went into it for perhaps years. Finding the right land, finding the right seed, planting at the right time, nurturing it every single day. Finding the right soil. Going back to the first one, finding the right soil for the right plant. It's very complicated. Like, not just any soil can grow anything. There's some soil that are good for a particular plant. There's some soil that are not good for a particular plant. So finding the right soil, finding the right seed for that soil, then then growing it, nurturing it, making sure every day, making sure it gets everything it needs. If it is, the fertilizers are also different. I'm not into farming, so I can't go into very specific details, but I know for a fact that the kind of soil you need to plant broccoli is not the kind of soil you need to plant, let's say, pineapple. I know broccoli is very demanding for some reason. Anyway, so all of these details are what goes into what then becomes this magnificent tree that then grows this fruit. And protecting it from praise, either the insects, either the weather, either the birds, animals that are ready to chew on it and stuff. All of these details, when someone goes through them, when they are harvesting the fruits, it feels much more fulfilling. And so the word that they use to describe that process, that harvesting process, is falah, is success. And what this means for us when we recite in the Quran is, for instance, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 5, where it says, Ulaika umul muflihun. It says, and these, after stating some conditions of being a Muslim and the likes, it says, and these are the muflihun. That's falah. And these are the successful ones. So, and you find that as a thing in the Quran. Whenever it mentions falah, it either precedes it with some conditions, or after it, there are some conditions. And what Allah is basically saying is, these are the things you need to do. Just like the farmer plants all of these things and does all of these things, right? Find the right sun, the right rain, or the water and stuff. These are the things you need to do, so that at the end of the day, when you are getting your fruit, when you are harvesting from what you've planted and what you've nurtured for years, you will be just like the farmer is happy when he gets his falah. You will also have that happiness, and way beyond that kind of earthly happiness, of course. You also find it like Surah Al-Shams. Qad aflah al-mu'min. No, that's Mu'min. Surah Al-Mu'min. Qad aflah al-mu'minun. And then you see it starts listing conditions. Qad aflah man zakaha. That's the one I was trying to remember. Surah Al-Shams. Qad aflah man zakaha says, and he is successful, he who purifies his soul. And so you see, zakaha from zakat, which means to purify, which is another word where we may get into one of these days. Zakat, the true meaning of zakat is to purify. And so the money that we give for zakat is to purify, is Different from like the money that we give for sadaqah, which its roots is siddiq, like trust. We'll get into those details inshallah one of these days. But what I wanted to say with respect to that is, so qad aflaha man zakaha. So the things that we need to do to be able to be successful to purify our soul is to purify our soul. And of course, if we go into the intrinsic meanings of the verses that comes before it, Allah talking about the sun, the moon, and how the fujur, and how the process of giving and taking and holding back and taqwa and the details of the classical Arabic, you understand how the purification process was explained before getting into that. And of course, it mentions the story of those that killed the camel and how they basically sullied their soul. They did not purify their soul. And so these are the nuances, the nuances of the word falah. May Allah make us part of those that eventually become successful. Have falah. Another time we listen to it, we hear falah, is the adhan. It's very interesting. It's the adhan. The adhan says, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. And so it's calling you, they just translate it as success. But what it should remind you of whenever you hear falah is basically to come and water the plant, to come and do something to this plant, this tree that you are growing. And it is interesting that whenever we go to the mosque, then we do ablution, you see, just like as if we're watering the plant. And the Quran is light, so it's like the sun is coming into us. So while we're praying, we're reciting the Quran. And so we're like this tree being built. And inshallah, it's so fascinating, the Arabic language, the classical Arabic. Modern Arabic is not so nuanced these days, but classical Arabic is so fascinating. They went deep into it. It has depth of meaning, you see. May Allah make us one of those that understand the Quran and are able to teach it. May Allah make us one of those that achieve falah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa sallam taslim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.